Hey, what's up, Musers? This is John at Muse for You, here to help you build awesome websites without code. And the Avengers character that I'm going to be working with today is Spider-Man. Now, we haven't seen Spider-Man in the previous Avenger movies, but in the new Captain America trailer, we do see Spider-Man, which for me is pretty exciting. We're going to be working with Spider-Man here in this video tutorial. Now again, I'm not affiliated with Marvel or the Marvel team. I'm just kind of working with these characters to showcase and demonstrate the widgets found at museforyoushop.com. So here I have the website, and I'll go ahead and preview this in the browser. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. And here we can see Spider-Man comes from the top to the bottom. We have the particles.js widget here in the background. We animated Spider-Man with Muse Motion 2, the Muse Motion 2 widget, and the web here is with particles.js. And then if we click, we have the particles.js, and we can add spiders, and the spiders are connected with a web, which is really works for this website. Now, I'm not particularly fond of spiders, and I do take care of them if I see them, but I do like Spider-Man, and yeah, Spider-Man to me is just really cool. So here are the spiders, and they're connected with a web, and that again is done with the particles.js widget. And again, yeah, we have the particles.js here in the background. And then if we click on Spider-Man, we can see that Spider-Man swings there, and that's done with the Animator widget. Okay, and we have the SpiderMan logo here in the background, and we're going to be using Photoshop to create a transparent circle behind Spider-Man and place the logo behind that transparent circle. So I'll go ahead and get started with building this website. So I'll go to Adobe Muse, and I'll go to File, New Site, and I'll click OK, and I'll double click here on the home page, and here I have a blank site. So the first thing I'll do is bring in Spider-Man, and I've gotten these images from Google. I just went into Google and typed in Spider-Man artwork, and there's just a lot of Spider-Man artwork there. So this image I got from Google and downloaded it, and here it's a little bit too large, so to make it smaller, we'll set the width to 250, and because the width and the height are constrained here, it'll change the height as well. So there we have it. Now it's at 250 by 412, and I'll just center Spider-Man right there. So now I'll bring in the Muse Motion 2 widget to animate Spider-Man coming from the top to the bottom. So I'll go to the library panel. If you don't see the library panel, you can go to Window and click on Library. So here I'll type in Muse Motion 2, and then here I'll bring in the Add First widget first and place it right there at the top. And then I'll bring in the Muse Motion 2 2D Transformations widget, just like that. And I'll place it right here. And if I go into the widget options, we can see for the graphic style name, it says Motion 1. So we want to assign the graphic style name Motion 1 to the Spider-Man image, so that whatever I do to the widget will be applied to the Spider-Man image. So I'll click on here on the image, and then I'll go to my graphic styles panel. If you don't see your graphic styles panel, you can go to Window and click on graphic styles. And then here I'll click on the create a new graphic style icon, and it's just it looks kind of like a piece of paper with a folded corner on the bottom left hand corner. So I'll click there, and it creates a new graphic style called Style. So I'll double click, and then I'll call this Motion 1, just like that. So now this image has the graphic style Motion 1 applied to it. So if I add any options in the widget, it'll be applied to this image because the graphic style name is Motion 1 here. So to have Spider-Man come from the top to the bottom, we want to translate Y. And translate basically means move, and because it's going to move on the Y axis, it's going to move up and down. So the first thing I'll do is click Enable Translate Y, and we want it to animate from negative 500 pixels. So I'll enter in negative 500 here and say animation start from. So it's going to move the image up 500 pixels, and it's going to animate from that point, and it's going to animate down. And then for the easing option, I'm going to say power 4 because I like that easing option. And that's it. That's all we have to do for this widget. So now I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and Spider-Man comes in from the top to the bottom. Looks great. And I'll move him down a little bit. So the next thing I'll do is change the color of the background of the website. So to do that, we just click on a blank area on the website, and then it brings up we have access to the browser fill option. So here in the browser fill, I'll click the drop down, I'll select the sample color tool, and I'll sample this blue from Spider-Man's suit just like that. And that looks good. Maybe a little bit lighter, or that made it darker. So yeah, we'll just sample this blue color here. That looks good. Okay, so now I'll add some text. So I'll grab the text tool here on the left and drag out a text box, and I'll say Spider-Man for the text. And then for the font, I'll say Eurostyle Extended. I like that font for this website, and I'll center it, and I'll change the font size to 48. There we go. So now we have the Spider-Man text and we have Spider-Man. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is create a transparent circle. So to do that, I'm gonna open Photoshop, and I'm gonna create a new artboard. So I'll go to File, New, or New Document, and I'll say 500 by 500, just like that. So for here, all we wanna do is create a rectangle. So I'll go to the rectangle tool on the left toolbar right over here. I'll click the rectangle tool. I'll draw a square over the document here. So now it's a black square. So I want it to be a white square. So I'll go to Fill, and I'll set the color to white just like that. So that looks good. Now the next thing we want to do is create a transparent circle on the square. So to do that, what I'm going to do is select the eraser tool right over here to the left. And actually, before I do that, I want to make the background layer here not visible. So the only thing visible is the rectangle. And what that does is if we erase anything on the square, it'll become transparent, and I'll show you that in a second. So here I'm going to select the eraser tool now, and for the eraser type, we can change the option here at the top. For the size, we can set it to 400, just like that. We'll select this circle eraser right there, and for the hardness, we'll set it to 50%. So there's kind of like a feathering, there'll be a feathering around the circle. So now when I try to erase, it's going to ask me this shape layer must be rasterized before proceeding. Rasterize the shape, and I'll say okay. So now I can erase some of the white on this square. So here I just want to select the center of the square, or try to position this exactly on the center, and that looks good right there, like so. And then I'll just click, and here we see it creates a transparent circle within the square, and the circle is a little bit feathered. Now I like this effect because when I place any elements behind it, it kind of gives it this more like an opacity effect over the element, and I'll go over that in this video tutorial so we can see how that works. So now we have the transparent circle in the square. So now I'll go to File, and to make sure that it's transparent, you do want to make sure that this background layer is not visible, because if we make it visible, then the circle isn't transparent. So we just want to make sure that that's not visible. So now I'll go to File, Export, Save for Web, and here we want it to be at PNG 24, the file type, and the transparency, we want to have it checked so that this circle here is transparent. So now I'll click Save, and I'll save this as Muse for You, Spider-Man image for BG for background. All right, looks good. And then I'll go into Adobe Muse. I'll go into my Finder, and I'll bring in the image that we just created in Adobe Photoshop. So we can see that it's white, and that doesn't look good because it doesn't match the website. So what we can do here is click on the browser fill again, go to the browser fill, click the drop down, and then we want to click on the add swatch icon, which is right here. So I'll click there on add swatch, and then I'll click OK, and now this color has been added to the swatches panel, and I can select it for any element on my Adobe Muse website. So here I'll click on the image again, and then I'll go to Effects. I'll click on Glow, I'll select Glow. For the color, I'll select that blue color that we just added. For the opacity, I'll say 100, and for the blur, I'll say 250, which is the maximum blur, and then I'll click on Inner Glow. So now that that transparent circle and the area around it is the same color as the website. So here I want to bring this behind Spider-Man. So I'll go to my Layers panel, I'll click the drop down for the layer, and I'll bring it behind Spider-Man. So it doesn't seem like that has any real effect yet. So we're gonna kind of add more things to the website so that we can see this transparent circle working essentially. So the next thing I want to do is bring in the particles.js widget. So I'll go to my library panel, and I'll type in particles.js. And here we can bring in the particles.js widget 1.2. And for the container height, we can see the widget options right away. For the container height, I'll say 400. And then I'll bring the container up a little bit so that it's exactly at 400. And then for the width, I'll unconstrain here and set the width to 400 so it doesn't change the height. So now we have a 400 by 400 container area for the particles.js widget. And here for this particles.js, I'll go into the widget options. For the particles, we'll leave it at 80. For the particle color, I'll say white. For the particle shape, I'll leave it at circle. I like it at circle. For the size, we can leave that. The opacity and the size, we'll leave it the way it is. Size is good. Line length, let me click on line length. For the minimum size, I want it to be 250 so that those lines don't disconnect and they always stay connected together, because essentially what I'm trying to mimic is like a web feel, like all the particles are creating a web. So I'll make the size a little bit larger for the lines. For the link color, I'll say white, and the link opacity, I'll say 1. That way all the lines are visible at the same time, and we could add an opacity to it and it might actually be an interesting effect, but for now we'll leave it at 1. For the movement, the speed of 6 is fine. That's all great. I'm not going to change the movement. For interactivity, I don't want any interactivity on hover or on click, so I'll uncheck both of those here. Enable interactivity on hover and enable interactivity on click. So that's it for this particles.js. So what I'm going to do is bring it behind SpiderMan and that background that we brought in. So as you can see, that transparent circle is now over the particles. So it looks like the particles are in a specific area and there's kind of fading around the particles, which I like that effect. So now I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and we can see the particles behind SpiderMan, and they disappear behind that that square, and we can only see it within the transparent circle. So there we have it, the particles.js, and I think I am going to add the opacity to it just to give it more of a realistic feel. So for the line link, the link opacity, I'll say 0.4. Yep, just like that. Looks great. Perfect. Yep, so we can see some of the lines kind of disappear, and it's a nice effect, so I like it there. So the next thing I'll do is bring in the SpiderMan logo and also place that behind everything else. So I'll bring in the logo here. I'll click, hold, and drag, and then for the logo size, I'll say 500, and then I'll constrain proportions as well. So let me undo that, or let me delete it. I'll do that again. I'll bring it in. Click there, I'll constrain proportions, and I'll say 500. So now it's the same size as that transparent circle we brought in. So I'll just place him there. And then I'll go to my layers panel and I'll bring him behind everything else. And perfect. So there we have the spider. And let me just go to align and make sure that it's centered on the web page. And I'll move him up so that it's perfectly behind the square there. Perfect, looks good. And as we can see, there's kind of like a fading around the spider, which is the effect I was going for. And it's behind the particles and behind SpiderMan. So if I go to File, Preview Page in Browser, we have SpiderMan, we have the particles over the spider, we have the SpiderMan logo, and SpiderMan comes down just like that. So the next thing I'll do is I'll bring in the Animator widget. So I'll go to my library panel and I'll type in the Animator just like that. So I'll bring in the Animator initial widget because it's the first instance of the Animator, the first animation. And then I'll go to the widget options, and for the graphic style name, I'll say motion 1 because that is the graphic style name that is applied to the SpiderMan image. And then for the animation, I'll say swing, so we can have him swing. And the duration, I'll say 4,000, so he's not swinging too fast. And 4,000 is 4 seconds because it's in milliseconds. And then for the animation start, I want to say on click, so that when we click on SpiderMan, he swings from left to right. Okay, so that's all we have to do for the animator. So now I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and we have SpiderMan coming from the top down, and then if we click on him, he swings from left to right. Looks good. So the next thing I'll do is bring in another particles.js widget and add the spiders to the website. So I'll type in particles.js, and I'll bring in the particles.js 1.2 again. And I'll place it here to the left of the website. And then for the container height, I'll say 1000 so that it fills the entire browser. And then I'll say pin to the top there so that it doesn't move when the user scrolls the website. And then for the width, I'll go to resize and I'll say stretch to browser width. Okay, looks good. And then I'll go to the widget options, and for the particles, we'll set it to 1 because I don't want that many spiders initially in the particles.js. And then for the particle shape, I'll say image. And then for select an image for shape, I'll click add file, and I'll select this spider here, which I again got from Google. Just typed in SpiderMan artwork or typed in spider PNG, and I got this image here. And there we have that, and we'll leave the image width at 100 by 100. That all looks good. And then I'll go to next thing I'll go to is size. Yep, and I'll change the size to 20 because 5 is too small for the image. So I'll say 20, and I don't want a random size. I just want one size for the spider so we can see it. Because if we set random size, then the minimum size, I mean, we could set a minimum size to let's say like 10, so we'd have different size spiders, but I like it all the spiders to be the same size. So there we have the size. We do want the line link on. For movement, I want the spiders to move to the top right, so I'll select top right for the movement, so it'll move from the bottom left to the top right, and that looks good for the movement. For the interactivity on hover, I do want it enabled, but I want it to grab so that the lines connect the spiders when I hover my mouse over the different spiders. And then enable interactivity on click, I do want to push, and what push does is it adds more spiders to the website. And then for the particles push, I want to say 1 and not 4 because 4 is too many spiders. If I click, then 4 spiders would get added on. I just want 1 spider to be added on when I click. Okay, so now I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. And we inherited the options from the first particles.js because for any new instance of the particles.js, you need to change the instance number. So I'll change the instance number to 2 because the first particles.js had the instance number of 1, and that's why we saw those particles there at the top. So now if I go to File, Preview Page in Browser, we do have the spiders there, and the spiders are moving a little bit too fast, and that's because we didn't change the speed in the movement here. For the move speed, I want to set it to 1. So the spiders move a bit slower. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. There we have the spiders moving, and if I click, more spiders get added on, and they're connected with the line, just like that. All right, looks good and perfect. So the next thing I'll do, or the last thing I'll do, is add the city to the bottom of the website. So here I got an image from Adobe Stock, so I'll right click, open with Adobe Illustrator. And I'll just copy this image of the city down here. So I'll hit Command C to copy. I'll go into Adobe Muse and I'll hit Command V to paste. And then I'll select the image and then I'll go to resize and I'll say stretch to browser width so that the image is within the entire browser. And then I'll pin it to the bottom center so that it always stays at the bottom of the browser, just like that. There we go. The city's at the bottom. It's pinned to the bottom. So now if I go to File, Preview Page in Browser, the city's there at the bottom. We have SpiderMan, we have the spiders, and if I click on SpiderMan, we actually have to send SpiderMan, bring him to the front because he's behind a few elements, or I'll bring the particles.js to the back, just like that, or let me bring it above, there we go, above the logo, and I'll bring the SpiderMan image all the way to the top so that SpiderMan is at the top. And I just did that by moving the different elements in the layers panel here. So now I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and there we have SpiderMan, we have the spiders, and if I click on SpiderMan, he swings, looks good. Yes, and I did want to add the logo next to SpiderMan, and here I'll just change the width to 100, and I'll place it right over here next to SpiderMan, the SpiderMan text. All right, looks good. So again, File, Preview Page in Browser. This should be the last time. There's SpiderMan. He comes in from the top to the bottom, and if I click on him, he swings, and if I add spiders, more spiders get added there. Looks good. All right, and we want to send this to the back or no, not to the back. So let me work with the layers panel. Let's see, where's that city? Let's bring it just like that. Yep, that's good there. And here, we'll bring this above that. Okay, so now I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. And if I click over the city, the spiders get added over the city as well. So I just moved a few layers around so that the spiders, when you clicked on the city, the spiders would be added as well. All right, looks good. And for the line link, when I change the opacity, it does give an opacity of 0.4 to all the lines. So if you set it to 1, all the lines will have an opacity of 1, and it doesn't really alternate there with the link opacity. But it looks good. I like the opacity of 0.4 because usually webs are kind of see-through, and you can see through the webs. They're not perfectly solid, so it just gives it a really nice effect. All right, so there we go. That's a lot of spiders. Sometimes they creep me out, so I'm going to stop adding spiders. And the other thing I wanted to mention, because we had that circle, that transparent circle that was kind of feathered, it has a really nice effect on the SpiderMan logo behind here. As we can see around the legs of the logo, it's a little bit, it's a little bit less opacity, and I do like that effect there. So that's it for this website and this video tutorial. Again, to get access to these widgets, you simply go to museforyoushop.com, and then here you can click on the pop-up. And here you can click subscribe to get access to all widgets and any new widgets I come out with for $39 a year. Or if you'd like to subscribe with PayPal, you can click here and subscribe with PayPal. If you'd like to purchase the widgets individually, you can click on the widget. Here I clicked on the particles.js, and here you can click on add to cart to purchase individually. Or again, you can get access to all widgets and any new widgets I come out with for $39 a year. And I'll go back to the widgets. Here we have the Muse Motion 2 widget that we used. We have the parallax.js widget, and we have the Animator widget. And I could have used the font smoother widget as well to make that font a little bit smoother, the SpiderMan font there. So that's it for this video tutorial. Again, I do this to help you build awesome websites without code. If you like this video tutorial, you can subscribe below. Also in the show more section below are links to other resources and links to museforyoushop.com. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video tutorial. Thank you.